Nicole Louise Upston.
Tēnā koe e te manawhakawa, tēnā koe e te whare. Rau rangatira mā, tēnei te mihi ki a koutou, I rurunga, I te kaupapa, o te rā. Mr Speaker, it gives me a great pleasure to rise in the second reading of the Ngati Makino Claims Settlement Bill. But it does trouble me somewhat to have listened to the last speaker, who seems to have deviated quite significantly away from the bill and away from the way that definitely the Māori Affairs Select Committee operates in its business of progressing these very important treaty settlements. So I do want to put that on record. This is not usually a place for political statements of that nature, particularly where they are wide of the bill in question. This is a bill for Ngati Makino, and I want to just take a few minutes to outline the process that the Select Committee uses, because I think it is important, Mr Speaker, that it goes on record. The Minister Finlayson was before the Select Committee yesterday, and it was great to see that there were compliments across the Select Committee from every party in the room in the way that the Minister and the Office of Treaty Settlements are able to progress these bills in a very efficient manner, but not at all taking away from the significance and the need for diplomacy and negotiation to make sure that the wrongs of so many years gone by are put to right. So I do want to acknowledge the Minister and his team, and I do want to pay tribute to my fellow members of the Māori Affairs Select Committee, because I do believe it operates in a way that is a fantastic example of how this Parliament operates. And we had visitors, Mr Speaker, yesterday from the New Zealand Business and Parliament Trust who witnessed that and who also complimented both the Minister and the Māori Affairs Select Committee members on the manner in which they conduct their business. So, Mr Speaker, I want to put that on record. I think the other thing that is important and that I do want to just say just for a moment, more for those who are watching this debate, I was fortunate in last month to attend the Raukawa Deed of Settlement signing and to have witnessed a Crown apology. And it was a very, very powerful moment, a very humbling moment and a very moving moment for me as the local Member of Parliament. And it was fantastic to see so many members of the community, the wider community, there to witness that. Because I think that's one of the things that we don't talk about enough, is the fact that every step of the treaty process is one that unifies, not divides. And so it is important for the whole country that we are able to progress these settlements. For Ngati Makino today, the second reading is another important step in that process. But I think we need to, Mr Speaker, reflect on as a country how significant this work is. And that's why I've laboured the point of the fact that we are making such significant progress under Minister Finlayson in getting these settlements progressed and these readings done, with the acceptance of the House to sit and pass legislation in extra time. The two specific areas of the redress for Ngati Makino that I wanted to touch on are conservation and the restoration and revitalisation of the marae. Conservation because, like many iwi in their settlement, there are conservation or scenic reserves that are part of the settlement. And I can't think of any better group, organisation to take care of that land. As we know, for example, I've got conservation projects in my own electorate where the iwi are significantly involved, and it is the conservation that is in the heart and their soul that spreads to the community. And so I wanted to acknowledge that part of the settlement. And also the marae, the 6 marae where the Ngati Makino Heritage Trust have already had a payment of $1 million so that they could get on with that very important work. Because the marae are also the heart for the iwi members, and that's where their strength lies. So it's fantastic to see that investment's being put back into the marae and to make sure that they are the sorts of places that young and old will gather. So, Mr Speaker, I will leave it at that. I just do want to say that these settlement bills, every part, every reading, it's important for us to focus on the future and not the past. And it's not just the local communities that benefit, but the country as a whole. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
I call Brendan Horan.